What is a one-sample t-test? How to perform a one-sample t-test and how is it different from a one-sample z-test? In this video, we will try to understand that. In our previous video, we discussed one-sample z-test. We saw that when the population variance is known and the test statistic under the null hypothesis is normally distributed or the sample size is large enough, usually more than or equal to 30, we perform a z-test. But it is not always possible to know the population variance. So, when the population variance is not known and the sample size is small, usually less than 30, we perform a t-test. Please note that in both z-test and t-test, the sample should be randomly collected and the data should be collected as an independent sample. In this video, we will discuss how to perform a one-sample t-test. Let's say the mean height of students of a particular class is known to be 160 cm. A random sample of 20 students of the class is collected from a school and the heights of the sample are as follows. And the standard deviation of the sample is 14.14. We want to know whether the mean height of the class in the school is significantly different from the known mean height of the students in the class. Here, the sample is independent and randomly collected. The variance of the population is not known and the sample size is less than 30. So, we will use a one-sample t-test here. Let's state our null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. The null hypothesis is that the mean height of the students of the class from the school is not significantly different from the known mean height. In other words, mu is equal to mu0. And the alternative hypothesis is that the mean height of the students in the class from the school is significantly different from the known mean height. In other words, mu is not equal to mu0. So, we will perform a two-tailed hypothesis test here. Let's also assume that our level of significance alpha is 0.05. Now, we can calculate the test statistic based on the information we have. So, let's first calculate the mean height of the sample. Here, the mean height of the sample is x bar is equal to 163.17 cm after calculation. The known mean height of the population mu is equal to 160 cm. In the next step, we will calculate the t-score. The t-score can be calculated using the following formula. T is equal to x bar minus mu divided by s by root n, where s is the standard deviation of the sample and n is the sample size. Now, in our case, the standard deviation of the sample is s, which is 14.14, and the sample size is 20. So, t is equal to 1.001 after calculation. Now, we need to calculate the degrees of freedom. We know that if the sample size is n, then the degrees of freedom is n minus 1. So, in our case, the degrees of freedom is 20 minus 1 is equal to 19. Now, the t-statistic in a t-test follows t-distribution, and this t-distribution depends on the degrees of freedom. For example, the graph of the t-distribution for 19 degrees of freedom looks like the following. We have found our t-score. So, the next step will be to calculate the critical value. We can look at the t-distribution table for that purpose. Here, we can see the rows in the t-table indicate the degrees of freedom and the columns indicate the significance level alpha. In our case, we are performing a two-tailed hypothesis test and the alpha is 0.05. As it is a two-tailed test, we will look for row 19 and column 0.025. So, As we can see, the critical value in our case is 2.093. Now, the absolute value of the t-score is 1.001 and that is less than the critical value, which is 2.093. So, the t-score falls within the acceptance region. Hence, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. So, in our case, the mean height of the students of the class from the school is not significantly different from the known mean height. I hope this helps. Interested viewers who want to know more, please visit the website of the Security Buddy or refer to the playlist Statistics for Machine Learning. The relevant links are provided in the description. You may also want to subscribe to us and get notifications on recent videos.